TNA Wrestling, it's just incredible the things that are going on with them. They've got another big show coming up, TNA Rebellion pay-per-view on Saturday, April 11th at the Wolsten Center on the campus of Cleveland State University, former home of two-time NBA champion Miami Heat, Norris Cole. That's right, Cedric Alexander. I know in basketball down here in South Florida with the Heat, everybody's talking Big Three, but I'm talking Norris Cole. Hey, part of TNA Wrestling, Cedric Alexander. Big things going on with the system. It's not the Dewey Decimal System. This is the best system. Cedric, thank you so much. Tell us about TNA Rebellion coming up.
TNA Rebellion is going to be the night of the system. We're going to capture the tag titles, the X-Division title, and the World Championship. You will be walking into a new era of TNA come Rebellion.
What has it been like with this? Because it's Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers, Bear Bronson, Alicia's involved, the system. Just what has this faction been like? You're no stranger to factions. What has this been like for you?
It's just another walk in the park. I've said it before. I make factions cool. When I join factions, bang, through the roof. We win gold, we win championships, and this is nothing different. You know what I mean? I got a lot of history with Eddie from our time on the Indies. I got some history with Myers from our time in WWE. Not a lot of history with Bear, but me and him clicked just as well. It's just a well-oiled unit of just good brothers.
Hey, Cedric, you mentioned Brian. Are you into the wrestling memorabilia? Are you into the stuff like that? I know him.
He's, you know
He's
what?
really
He's starting to
bad.
get me into it now. I've started whatnot. I still got to fix some things with my whatnot. It's a little bit wonky right now. I'm going through a move right now, so like all my stuff is put away. But yeah, no, 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 no. He's good. I'm gonna get on that train with Myers real quick.
Well, I'll say this, the system, some cool merch, and you're wearing something right now. That is so cool that you have the shirt as well. That's really cool. This is the colors, just having the color scheme with it too and all. What have you thought about the whole packaging? Not just what you see, what y'all are doing in the ring, but
hmm
everything that goes with it. What has that been like for you?
It's been clicking really well. Ever since the decision was made to join the system, it's been super easy. You know what I mean? It's almost like we've been doing this together for years already. There's always a camaraderie there. There's already a sense of relationship there. So like when it came to the colors and the design, actually Myers had already had plans. So we just kind of put our own opinions in, made some changes here and there. Bang, it's all done.
How much fun are you having right now?
I am having a blast. It's the most fun in wrestling I've had in a while, where I'm able to just kind of just be free and be me with no like restrictions or anything like that, and not always having to have a checklist of what I can and can't do. That's like just small things like that. You just understand how freeing it could be when you just have no restrictions at all of like even for the most minute things.
It's interesting with TNA Rebellion coming up, and there's so many really big TNA shows throughout the year. And by the way, you could always catch TNA Wrestling Thursday Night Impact at its new home of AMC and AMC Plus. I'm curious, how has that been? We heard so much about the new home for TNA Wrestling and being a part of this. You're a part of this, springboarding this whole AMC reboot of TNA Wrestling, trying to get on a bigger network, and it did. So when you're doing that, how mindful of you of that?
It's I try not to think about that too much because then I get so caught up in like all the extra things that I don't need to be thinking about at the moment. Like for me, it's just I look at it as this is a prime opportunity to not show off to not only show off TNA but show off myself and on the biggest stage possible. And AFC has been great to work with so far. And we want to continue that relationship and strengthen it to the best of our abilities. And I think we're doing that slowly but steady. Taking one step at a time. We got our nice solid foothold right now, but we're gonna kick it up here a notch a little bit. Oh no, my screen it fell. I'm back. All right, there it is. What happened there?
Wait, you're ready to go, Cedric.
Difficulties. We got it. We got it. We're working out here. We're good. We're good.
Hey, it's just so cool and to see you work because I read you started in the Carolinas with right on that and all. And if that's accurate, what was it like there? Because the Hardy Boys are Carolina guys. There's been a lot that have come through the Carolinas.
You
And I'm
know,
just curious about when you got started.
funny enough, yeah, that is 100% accurate. I started training under George South in Charlotte, North Carolina around about 2000, 2009, something like that. And George South had a big hand in training the Hardy Boys with, if I remember correctly, it was Italian Stallion down in the Carolinas where they would help get them booked on WWF shows. So yeah, there's a lot of history there. I'm linked to the Hardys in that way. We got the same trainer. Say, R-Truth was trained by George South. Actually, yeah, that's how I met R Truth. One of the first times was through George. Actually, no, I met R Truth at an indie show when I was like 9, and I remember seeing him and going, "Hey, mom, look, it's a pro wrestler." And Truth walks up to me and goes, "Hey, what's up, dog?" Dabs me up and just keeps walking, and I just remember going, "That's a wrestler right there. That's a real pro wrestler." And I think from that moment on, I think that's what really got me hooked into pro wrestling was that moment with Truth, former TNA World Champion, might I add.
And it's really cool. TNA Wrestling working with WWE, working with NXT. Our Truth has been a mainstay over there. But
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, back also when you look at his history, he's had not just the comedic aspect, but he's had tremendous matches, especially in TNA Wrestling. What can you say more about that?
man, put some respect on Truth's name. He has been going hard and having some of the best matches like for years, well before anyone ever thought about going to WWE. Like Truth's been great. Truth, I think some of his best matches were like those still super early days in TNA where they were still in the asylum. Uh, like him winning the world championship was that was awesome for me as a as especially as a young black athlete seeing our Truth, and he's from Charlotte. He's from Charlotte. Seeing him win the championship for me was a big moment to make me realize like, man, TNA really is awesome to put the belt on Truth and let him let him freaking run with it and stuff. Oop, watch my language. Almost said something bad there. But no, yeah, it's man, Truth's awesome. And even when I was in WWE, just talking with Truth in the locker room, like just him as a human being, I can't say enough great things about Truth.
That must be so cool that you're this 9-year-old kid and you see him, and then all of a sudden now you're in a locker room and you're a peer. You're not a fan, he's still a fan, but you're a
Yeah,
peer. And what was that like going through that and seeing some
yeah,
of the wrestlers like that? And now you're like, whoa, 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 I fan mode off, pro wrestler on.
yeah, man. I still to this day kind of get that feeling, when you walk through the locker room and see like guys you've seen on TV for years, and now they look at you as peers. Like Frankie Kazarian is a fan of mine of pro wrestling. I've wrestled him one other time, no, actually a couple other times on the Indies. But like when we got the TNA, I was looking for like, man, I get to wrestle Frankie again. That'd be kind of cool. And to know Frankie is a fan of my work, it's like, yeah, that's right, man. That's awesome. Just I still mark out for moments like that when I can look around, like just the locker room and go, these are personalities I grew up with. Like working with Tommy Dreamer now is like, oh man, I remember sneaking up as a kid and watching him on ECW, just like with the TV super low and the tent real low, so you can't see the shine under the door. Like I was, yeah, man. It's and just having memories like that, and then be able to look around and go, these people are now my peers, and there's some a mutual respect there that really just, man, just lets me know I made the right decision in being a pro wrestler. And just I love the business, brother. I love it. I love it all.
You can tell that just how you talk about it and how you light up like that. And we're going to wrap this up. But I had a couple more questions I wanted to ask. And it's so cool because I always say two of the biggest states that have produced pro wrestlers are Ohio and North Carolina. And I wonder just how
Nice.
proud are you to be from Carolina and to be able to do what you're doing?
Man, I couldn't have picked a better place to start wrestling. Just the rich history of North Carolina and just the amount of wrestling that was just accessible. Like even as a fan, I didn't realize until I started to try and to join the business, like how much wrestling is rooted in North Carolina history. And it's one of the things that it just makes me more proud to be a part of the history. Because like now I can say like I'm part of I guess the royal lineage of North Carolina wrestling. Because like if you try to trace my lineages back, you could get George South, you get the Hardys, you get Hurricane Helms. Like I'm linked to a lot of great names in pro wrestling, and not only are these names like solidified as like legends in the business, but I can like call these people and say like hey Shane, what's up? You know what I mean? Like being able to call Shane Helms on a random phone call is like that's awesome, and be able to like talk to Jeff Hardy and Jeff Hardy be like, "Man, I love working with you." And, you know, that's just it's stuff you can't get. You know, you can't buy that kind of stuff.
Well, we've got the big TNA Rebellion pay-per-view coming up Saturday, April 11th at the Wolsten Center on the campus of Cleveland State University. And by the way, you could also check TNA Wrestling's video library 24/7 on Roku. That's also cool. And of course, we got Thursday Night Impact, which is on the new home. Its new home is AMC and AMC Plus. So, and there's a lot going on, and the system is a big part of it. The system is doing its thing. The system. If you're not down with the system, I don't know what you're doing. That's what's going on there.
You
And
can't
Cedric,
beat the system. You can't
yes,
beat the system.
I got to end it with this. How's Big Swole doing? How's she doing? And is the kid gonna wrestle? Is the kid gonna wrestle, Cedric? Are
Whoa,
you?
hold on,
Is the
hold
kid a
on, whoa,
wrestling
whoa,
fan?
whoa, whoa. Okay, she loves the business too. Okay, first of all, Big Soul's doing great. She's doing lovely. She's doing a commentary thing now. So so watch her for on that commentary. But as far as the daughter wrestling, she likes to grapple a little bit. She enjoys watching, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. She's still young. She's only 12, man. She's only 12. She's got time. She got time to figure it out.
That's awesome. Cedric, thank you so much. All the best. The system, TNA Wrestling. Yes.
Jim, I'm just trying to stop the recording. It's not working for me.